It's just the beginning part of November, and obviously we're here discussing what happened last month in October, and was there anything to really get concerned about, and what are some of the highlights. So this is what we're trying to do. So I put the headline about the government. What are they trying to do to mess with us right now? I'm going to hit on that in a little bit, so you got to stay tuned for why I put that out there. So as much as I'd love to say that there was something super exciting and eye-popping about the market that happened in October, that's just simply not the case. At this time of the year, we expect a few things. And these are, number one, there's a start to a slowdown in overall sales. Number two, we also expect inventory to start to ease and just people come off the market. And then number three, prices start to shift a little from our midsummer's peak as we kind of go towards December and January. And lo and behold, all three of these things are happening as expected. One thing though that I'm really happy is happening is the inventory shift. So if you've been following our updates for the last 3-4 months, you've noticed that I was getting a little concerned about our inventory climbing to a point that might affect potential pricing later on. But I'm happy to report that there was a shift. And there's that shift that I was hoping to see and I was waiting for to see. In October, we actually saw 600 less properties be on the market than in September. So as we were climbing, I'm starting to get worried. Boom, a bunch fell off. Back into line with what we would expect at this time of year. So, with both of these, and the other thing, I forgot to mention, inventory dropped, and usually you would see sales drop a little bit, but it didn't happen. Actually, sales held to almost neck and neck to September's numbers, and that's really good for us to see. So when you see inventory drop and sales hold, it's a great thing overall for pricing to stay very much stabilized. And that's good also going into the colder, slower months. Stability is key. So I'm going to continue, as I always do, to review this stuff and watch to see what happens over the months that tend to be slower, and we do see prices erode just a little bit. But you never know. We will watch. So aside from the fact that market is fairly stable and we've seen the inventory get back to where I'm comfortable with, the feds, hence the title there that we've said, they've just decided to implement a new policy change in regards to the overall lending guidelines. So you've likely heard something about this in the news, and you've probably seen headlines like a couple of these. I'm going to throw up a few headlines your way because this is the stuff that we're reading. This is the stuff that you might end up, so here, proposed mortgage rules will reduce your home buying power by 21% report. Now, I forget which website this is, but again, very big, probably Financial Post or something like that. The second article, after rate hikes, Canadian housing braces for biggest rule change of all time, right? So this is stuff that we're reading and have obviously become parts of our discussion, whether you're in the home buying, selling situation, or just curious to know what's going on and what the feds are doing. So I wanted to elaborate on this a little bit. And I'm not going to go into much detail because honestly, again, my past has been as a mortgage broker, but I've kind of hung up that hat and given it to somebody else here at Mortgage Line. But I think if you have specific questions, I want you to dig into a mortgage professional, and I'm happy to line you up with somebody. But basically, this is what's happening. This change is not affecting the entire market. Our mortgage people are telling us it's affecting about 20% of the buyers out there. So what this is for people that are putting 20% down or more onto their next purchase, they've adjusted the guidelines for which you get approved. Meaning they're basically making you get approved at the Bank of Canada posted rates. And this is just for 20% down buyers and more. as well as those people that are getting 5-year fixed mortgages. The difference is you used to get approved at the best rate, the 2.99, the 3.19, but now they're forcing us to get approved, the Bank of Canada posted, or 200 percentage points higher. So it is stress testing us as people. Investors are a group that are going to be affected within this because, again, they typically own multiple properties and their debt loads can be very tight. And this stress test might affect their overall buying power. But the thing with the headlines, they've alluded to the fact that it's this massive change. Well, this change actually already happened for first one-year mortgages, 2-year mortgages, 3-year mortgages, 4-year mortgages, all insured mortgages. This has already been the way in which we get approved already. So again, it's only a smaller portion of the market and we shouldn't run for the hills. But one thing to note is that if you are purchasing, you need to sit down and understand the stress test that this new change has had on your buying power. It might not affect you with what you're trying to purchase, but it might as well, and as that one headline talks about, reduce your overall ability to approve at the level you want it. And this is all going to be debt load and income related. So yeah, that's one thing. Now I wanted to pull up a little graph that showed about what happened last year. We're not going to go to that one. Yeah, so last year, this is when a change happened for all of that kind of 80% of the other people. And you'll see there that from September to October, we saw a big bump in purchase power. There's a lot of people that got pushed into the market because they wanted to get in before those changes affected them. That is something that we might see with this 20% demographic of people that are looking to purchase. So we may or may not have a much busier fall, like early winter, being November and December. But I'll be watching this to see if that truly is the case. Or maybe it doesn't affect as many people and we don't see a big rush to get in before the rule changes that are going to take effect on January 1st. So now I'm going to dig into, that's the market as a whole. I want to dig into how this affects you as for sellers and also how it affects you if you're a buyer. So, well, because of the rule change, it's likely going to keep a few more people interested in buying now before the changes come into effect. So this means, like I said, November and December may be busier for sales activity. So as we've said earlier, inventory's gotten back in check, but it is still higher than we've seen in prior years. So if there's a bump in buyers right now and you're a seller and you're gonna go to market or you're currently on the market, you want to benefit from this longer stay and this extra effort by buyers that are going to be wanting to buy before Christmas. So make sure you're pricing as well as you can. Make sure you can stand out so that you can take advantage of whatever extra buying power is trying to get into the market over this next little while. I personally believe, and this is kind of what happened last year after the bump, is that there'll be a bit of a slower period once January hits, because these people might have pushed into the market a little bit earlier than they would have normally done because of the rule changes. And January and February have been a fairly slow month for Calgary. So if more push in earlier, I think you'll see January and February even slower than you've seen in years past, at least recent years past. So selling now is really crucial for you. And maybe your motivation isn't super strong to maybe make that adjustment and force that price so that you get it sold. I would just suggest, I think sooner is better. And really think on that, because it could get very, very slow, at least for the beginning part of next year. Now, on the flip side, for buyers, and carrying on with this theme of mortgage rule changes, you've got this great inventory right now. Right? You've got lots to select from. Even though we've seen some come off, you still have a lot. And sellers are going to be a little eager. And they're going to be eager now, so you want to make sure that you're out there looking and looking heavily. So this could be a great time, what I say, to match your motivation to grab before the changes happen and to match with the seller's motivation to sell before things might get slow. So it could be a great win-win scenario and get great value on your purchase. So if you are thinking of buying and you've actually already been looking, make sure that you spend the time with your mortgage professional or your bank that you might not have talked to for a while and get the stress test figured out. Are you going to be affected? Are you looking in a place that, a price point that you're already factoring in a bunch of factors of safety? It doesn't really matter, but just check in so that you don't get to the point of having your offer on paper and potentially lose your deal because of financing because you didn't take those steps to check into it. My guess is inventory is going to be at its highest now until probably March, April, or May. So if you're a buyer, you've got the best selection today, and it's going to drop off slightly towards December. It'll be very low January, and then it really won't come back to give you all that selection. And when you're buying your home, you want selection, which also gives you leverage to get a great deal. Make some sense? Yeah, so that's the market as a whole. There's a few things that I always like to go into in regards to the data that's going on. But basically, I wanted to summarize it quickly for you guys. Month by month, things change. Every district, every property type, every area of the city, you have these new highs, new lows, and kind of the winners. Well, the winners last month for kind of what I call hottest market was most of the east side of the city. The East District did extremely well, detached apartment, row, and even semi. So again, if you are a buyer or seller over there, just be aware that the pace of sales and the sell-through happened really quite well in the east side of the city, which is a departure because the Northwest was kind of winning most of this year so far. The other thing I wanted to talk about around best performing markets is just let you know which type of homes are doing the best. And it's still those semi-detached properties, the homes that share one wall, non-condo. They have had the best performance overall all year long and continue to do so. 5 of the 8 districts all have north of 3% appreciation, all the way up to almost 6 in the city core. So yeah, something to be mindful of. The rest, again, hit up your real estate professional about your specific needs because it changes from apartment down in the southeast to detached over in the west. It's too much data that I don't want to send to you guys on a little message here today. Now, I always like to talk about, and people love to hear about, the hottest communities. And when I say hottest communities, I do it in a way that is 2 things. Either inventory is really low, which means as homes come on, they sell really quickly, or as things come to market, how many sell through of those brand new ones in a given month. That tells us kind of the absorption rate and how fast a community is moving. And it's hard to look at communities with very small overall home counts into this equation because there's just not enough data. But when the communities are bigger and you've got, I'd say, nearly 1,000 homes and larger, this is great data to know. And the 3 communities that I highlighted here that I wanted you to know about is Ogden, incredible sell-through, Acadia, as well as Cliff Bungalow. All of these had quite a few properties hit the market, but almost doubled down on how many sold. So if you're in the market for those areas, or you're a seller that is going to come to market, you're going to feel really good about your ability to sell right now. On the flip side, which ones have really low inventory? Again, Ogden is a shining star. Wildwood out in the southwest near our office, and Acadia again did really well and have a really low inventory for you guys to consider. Now, there's even others with even lower inventory there, but again, they don't sell a ton of homes per month, so it's easy to see the inventory go down. But again, some of those, just for your own reference: North Haven, Christie Park, Upper North Haven, Maple Ridge, and Charleswood. All of those, again, sit with a very low inventory. And so if you are buying in these communities, you're going to have to know that you're going to have to jump on things a little quicker, just to take advantage of getting your dream home or whatever that might be. So that's the market update, guys. This was October. It was mostly fueled by the talk around the mortgage changes. They're not in effect yet. Your mortgage professionals are 100% aware of what's going on, so please reach out to them, stress test your situation. Now, this also affects those that are going to port their mortgage, or if they're going to do a refinance. It does affect all of you as well. So if you are planning to take a bunch of money out for renovations this year, that is going to change your borrowing power. Potentially, depends on how much money you want to take out. There's some really neat debt consolidation strategies that you can pull off so that maybe this change doesn't affect you as much either. So if you've got any questions about the market, guys, at Redline, we have agents in Airdrie and Strathmore and Cochrane and Deep South and then obviously all over Calgary. So if you want to know about specific market fundamentals that's going on in your area, we can easily link you up with the right people to give you that deeper dive into the area that you're concerned about. Thanks again for spending your time with me. I appreciate it. And look for me again next month to update you with what November brings.